Please welcome Gladys Saruga, Miss Africa Perth 2018.
Shower your blessing. Shower your blessing. We want this money. We want this money. I beg you, Bentley, shower your blessing. Shower your blessing. We want this money. We want this money. I beg you, Bentley. No more insufficient. 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 No more insufficient.
Hey guys, and welcome back. I know it has been such a long time, but I'm so excited to finally be back and doing another chit chat with you guys. And the title of this video is actually Farewell to my Miss Africa Perth journey. So I'm just going to be answering a few questions that you guys have sent through on Instagram.
Zlatan.
Alright, first of all, the hardest thing for me was probably planning events. I'm not an event planner, not by nature. I think this is something that I had to nurture and I had to learn and ask people and make mistakes. The hardest thing that I think I had to learn was, it kind of taught me a lot about adulting as well, but people no longer rely on your words. And I think coming from this mentality of if I say I'm going to do it, then I'll do it. You know, I kind of had to realize that it's not good enough anymore and that my words were not good enough because they needed to be followed by something. During Miss Africa, I really learned that you can't just say things and expect things to happen. You have to contribute to them happening. And also that goes for other people as well. You can't just rely on people's words anymore because people will say they'll do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But when, you know, it comes to it, they may not do it. So it's really important that, you know, I was a person that not only said I was going to do things, but actually did them. The greatest reality check I guess I had was when I was planning my first event and, you know, I called them up and I was like, I love this venue so much. This is my dream venue. Let's make it happen. Lady sent me the forms. I took a while to get back to her and finally fill them out. And when I did fill them out, I was like, oh, they're ready. Here you go. And she said, I'm sorry, someone's already paid. So yeah. And I sat there and I was so angry. I was like, how dare you? You said this was my venue. But she was basically looking at me like, I'm sorry, honey. In the real world, we don't just go by words anymore. You need to follow it with actions. So I think that was the hardest but also the greatest thing I learned. And what advice would I give to anybody wanting to participate? I think be yourself. It sounds so simple, but at the same time, that's what's really going to make you different because there is nobody else like you. So find that thing about yourself that makes you you and makes you unique and makes you crazy, but also makes you fun and makes you vulnerable, but also makes you great. And just showcase that. That's the best thing and the best advice I can give to anybody wanting to participate in any beauty pageant or Miss Africa in future.
Shower your blessing. Shower your blessing. We want this money. We want this money. I beg you, Bentley,
This question is a great question, but it's also a very tough question because I feel like this is something I'm still learning, and every year, just when I think I've arrived at, you know, my desired level of self-confidence, something pushed me back. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta start all over again. But I guess that's life. For me, it was really about taking time to really ask myself vulnerable questions and scary questions that I didn't want other people to ask me. And I had to be prepared for people to ask me those questions. But also I had to be prepared to have answers for those questions. Not for other people, but even just for myself. And so understanding that there are things about me that I need to work on, and understanding that, you know, I can still be a work of art and a work in progress at the same time. That's how I came to, or I'm coming to a healthy state of self-confidence. So I've learned, like, you can't be arrogant. It's off-putting to other people and you're not as inviting that way. You have to be relatable, but at the same time you have to also know that there are great things about you that are worthy of celebration, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. In a humble way, but there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. Unexpected lesson. Wow. I learned that it's okay to shoot for the stars and miss. It's okay to set goals and make them ridiculous. As crazy as that sounds, set ridiculous goals for yourself and also miss those goals. Because, you know, as some of you may or may not know, I set a goal to raise $6,000 so that I could have 20 scholarships by the end of my reign. And I didn't even reach there. you know, but that was a goal. And I had people tell me I was over ambitious. People tell me, you know what, that's a crazy goal. You don't do that. Don't do that goal. Just give it up, leave it alone. Like, what are people going to think? You probably never even make it. And you know what? They were right. I can honestly say they were right. It was a crazy goal. It was ridiculous to want to raise $6,000 in such a short amount of time. But I had that much faith that I was just like, God, are you going to embarrass me? I just had to come to a place where I was like, I'm okay with not reaching there, but I'm going to push. I don't want to get to the end of that stage and be like, I didn't even try. That's why I didn't make it. I can honestly say to you that I pushed as hard as I possibly knew I could. And the fact that I didn't make it doesn't make me upset, because I know I worked hard and I, you know, asked for support, I asked for help, and people reached out and they gave as much as they could. Even if some people didn't give, it didn't matter because there were people that did support me. That's also another lesson that I learned. Stop focusing on the people that don't support you, because you will constantly be living in this, I have nobody, I have no one supporting me, I have no friends. But if you actually focus on people that are, you know, rooting for you, you're going to be okay, because it helps your mental health and it encourages those people that are supporting you that, hey, I see you and I appreciate you. And I'm a firm believer in appreciating others and letting them know that you appreciate them.
Shower your blessing, shower your blessing. We want this money, we want them back. I feel God, no more sufficient.
Wow, okay, love this question. Apart from God, my family, I have to hands down say my family, because last year was one of the toughest years to date. I'm only 22, but that, you know, last year was one of the toughest years of my life. And having my family there, coming home to my family, having their support, having them hold me when I was crying, having them celebrate my wins with me, they really inspired me to just keep pushing and keep reaching for the stars and setting ridiculous goals and, you know, pushing as hard as I possibly could to see something come to pass. And, you know, they encouraged me to die empty. And by die empty, I mean I want to die and go to heaven and tell God that, you know what, everything you put inside of me, I gave it out. I refuse to die with all my dreams, because that would be the saddest moment of my whole entire life. So, you know, my family, my parents, my siblings, love them, love them. Yeah, they inspire me.
No more sufficient.
Another great question. So this is a great question because I struggled to balance everything. It was crazy at times, and there were times when I did feel like giving up. But I made sure that I auditioned in a year where I knew that I would be able to make time for the things I was trying to do. So I had graduated or finished my course, and I'm the type of person, I can't give 50%. Like, I just, even if it looks like I'm giving 50%, believe me, I'm giving 100. I just might not be as good as that thing as you think I am. But I cannot give 50% in something. So if I am auditioning for Miss Africa, I'm giving 100%, 110%. And I knew that I wanted to do it in a year where I was able to give 110%. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do it. So I had to write down things and write down schedules and, you know, get a diary and write things down, because there was events that I thought were happening 2 weeks later and they were actually next week, and I was like, what? Like, sometimes I get called out for it too. Like, you said you were coming to this, like, how do you not know about it? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. So I learned the power of writing things down, getting them out of your head and just jotting them down. It also helps ease your stress a little bit, because when you're writing it down, then you see it and it's not just all in your head, it's kind of on paper, and you get to realize, okay, maybe I booked too much for Friday the 27th, maybe I'll cut this out, maybe I'll cut this out, you know what, I can attend that, I'm going to give my 110%, so I'll go to that event. Those kind of stuff, that's how I manage to balance. And also setting time aside for yourself, your friends and your family, because those are your ride or dies, and it's important that you make time for people who make time to support you.
No more sufficient. No more sufficient. No more sufficient. No more insufficient.
Oh gosh, something that motivates me, setting goals and actually achieving them. That's huge. Even when I don't achieve them, but knowing that I did something that was working towards that goal, I can die without regret. And I think something that motivates me is I hate regret. I hate feeling like I could have given that more than I actually did. And so I don't know if it's a motivation or a fear. Either way, it works as a motivation. So, you know, I don't want to look back at the things I've done and feel like I should have given more or I should have done more. And that helps me push further. And so I can look back and say, hey, you know what, I tried. And I know that I loved that thing and I loved it with every bit of me. And so I have no regret. Another thing that motivates me is also my passions. Just knowing what I love and being able to do them, it excites me just as much as it motivates me.
I don't also pray, I don't fast. I would take you to my
Last but not least, this is an interesting question, but I think it's awesome to address it because it's an issue, but it's also part of my experience. So I guess I want to share it with you guys. In all honesty, sometimes support was a bit weak, and sometimes I take it personally. Like, did I do something that people don't want to show up, or people aren't like supporting me as much as I thought? I think for young African events, the support has gotten better. Like, we're really banding together in Perth, I would say 110%. Like, last year I saw a lot of young people having events, hosting events, and in the African community, and these events were like huge. You know, tickets were getting sold out, those kind of things. So word of mouth was big and is big among the African youth, and that's also helping a lot of events. But I do find people are not so keen to support other people's events, and it's not a good thing, but there is still hope. You know what I mean? And I think an encouragement from this question is, if you see somebody starting up a business and you love that idea, and in fact you kind of haven't had an idea like that, go to that event and talk to that person. Ask them, hey, I want to know how you got from A to B, because I'm trying to get here and I appreciate your work you're doing. Go and have a look at what they're doing. Go and study how they sent out flyers, you know, methods of distribution, those kind of things. Go and ask them how they were able to do it, and say to them, hey, you know what, this is my idea. Because the best advice I ever got about like an idea or an event or something you have planned was, don't be afraid to tell people or ask for help in regards to that idea, and don't be afraid that people are going to steal it, because people are too busy with their own lives. They can't be bothered. Like, a lot of the time people have already planned how they're going to, you know, do A, B, C, D. That they look at your thing as another task that they just don't have time for. But you're the only one that has that fire and desire and passion to really successfully deliver it the way you want it to be done. So don't be afraid to ask for help and share your idea with somebody at least. Like, don't just keep it to yourself, because that's another way of dying full when you want to die empty. So yeah, share your ideas with people. And for the youth or just African people in general, continue supporting brothers and sisters in the community when they have events, when they have businesses, when they have just things going on or ideas. Like, even if you don't necessarily agree with that idea, maybe give them a word of encouragement, or maybe point them in the direction of somebody that can help them. Just, there's other ways of supporting, but just make sure you're supporting. Like, that's the best advice I can give. And I'll put some snippets here towards the end so you can see my speech. It was kind of a bittersweet moment giving away the crown, but I'm just so grateful that I gave it to Tinsae. She's such a beautiful woman. And I remember the first time I met her, I said to my sister, because my sister was with me, it was at the Miss Africa Perth auditions, and I said to Deborah, you know when you meet people and you can see their heart? Now, I'm not even just like saying this now because she won. I'm saying because I legitimately said it to my sister the day I met her. I said, I can see Tinsae's heart, and she has a really good heart. And I'm so glad that the judges saw that as well. And I believe that she will be a great Miss Africa, and I'm excited to see all that she's going to be able to achieve. But it was bittersweet, but at the same time it was so beautiful, because I'm so grateful to have been Miss Africa Perth 2018 and to have stretched myself, because I was stretched, but also to have seen a lot of the things that had been spoken over my life come to pass last year. And I'm excited for more of God's promises to come to pass over my life, and to see God just really do his thing. And you also get to see my final catwalk, which in itself is a testimony, because yo, it took some work to get there. So I just want to say thank you all for your support, for temples, because I believe that you guys have really watched me grow from a girl who used to speak to chairs before events to a girl who actually stood in the Astor Theatre and was crowned Miss Africa Perth and got to host 2 events, 2 of my own fundraisers. You got 16 scholarships to West Australian students from Baldra Community College, from the support, from the community, from these fundraisers that I hosted, from these ideas that God gave me. So I just hope that you guys are encouraged by my journey, and I hope that this video just really blesses somebody. Thank you so much for everyone who sent in their questions. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And look out for more great videos, because Temples is only going to go higher from here on out, and I'm excited for the opportunities that are going to come my way, and I'm excited also for the lineup of this year's interviews, because it's great. Just know that it's great. Look out for it, because I'm getting excited already, and I want you guys to feel that same excitement. Join me on this journey as God continues to do great things, and yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you.
I just want to encourage you that you can still change the world, right? Even when you've had a dream that seems like it's fading and you're like, you know what, I was 5 when I wanted to design a car, like I'm 20 now, what am I going to do? No, you know what, design that car, okay? Be that person that stands up and says, this is my dream and I'm going to do it. And I just want to say thank you to every intercessor, every naysayer, every donation, every speaker, every community leader and business owner, every prayer and every hug, because it all meant the world to me. And I'm a firm believer that behind every powerful woman is a group of intercessors. And I want to thank God, right? So before I hand over the crown, I know that I didn't understand everything that God allowed happen in my life. And a lot of it would happen and I'm like, this don't make sense. But now I look back and I'm like, it's actually starting to add up. All the crazy things that happen in my life, all the things that I'm like, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Nah, it makes sense now. It was all building me up for like an opportunity like this where I can stand in front of people and say, do you know what, guys, I failed a couple of units in uni, but I graduated, okay? And I may have tripped on my dress when I walked on the catwalk, but I won, you know? So I want to encourage you all, like if you've ever been through something in life or you've ever struggled and people looked at you and they're like, you're not going to make it. No, you show them. Show them how it's done. Maybe you're not going to do it like the other person did it. You do it different and you do it better. Thank you so much for a great year. Thank you, everyone.
It's no one's perfect. So how long will you be worthless? How long will you lose?